Osinbajo and others make case for specific constitutional rules for deputies as Governor Ganduje launched book Deputizing and Governance in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mujit Jamil. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin on a sad note by paying tribute to one of Nigeria's first republic political leaders and the first aviation minister, Mbazulike Amechi, who died at the age of 93. According to a press statement signed by Ezena Tagbo on behalf of the family, Pa Amechi died on in the early hours of Tuesday, 1st of November. He was a nationalist and the only surviving member of the Zikist movement. Jide, 93, ripe age.
Very ripe age, given the standard of these times. I was reading about a vibrant role he played as a trade unionist for years, beginning from 1949 to 1955. And the father was a very prominent member of the Zikist movement. And he, along with others, took oaths that they would never get married until Nigeria gained independence, because the Zikist movement played a big part in the battle for Nigeria's independence back then. So, and he suffered persecution, taken to court several times as he continued to fight for independence of our country, because at that time, labor leaders played a very active part in fighting for the independence of Nigeria, and there was a very active labor leader at that time. And of course, was the First Republic Aviation Minister. Many will recall his last publicized public appearance when he led other prominent Igbo leaders, including Chukwuemeka Ezefe, to the president to demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu to him. And what he said at that time to the president was that, look, he listens to me.
This is a video of that last visit that you're talking about.
Yes. He said, I can guarantee to you, sir, that if you release him to me, all the things that he's doing that are not good, we will make sure that he stops. He listens to me. And there are examples of occasions when indeed IPOB listened to some prominent leaders in the East that they still respect. People like Ezefe. Remember when people thought the election would not take place, IPOB itself came out to say, no, the Anambra election will go ahead, you know, and everything calmed down, enabling Soludo to defeat his adversaries with a good margin. So we've lost a nationalist, we've lost a gentleman, and I can only pray that God will give the family the fortitude, you know, to bear the loss.
Those nationalists that fought for our independence in 1960, that said like that this should be, like, if not the last of them, but you know, they're living. When you look at the age and when you look at 1960, in which they fight for the independence, and look at time, it's somebody that God has been good to, that we spare his life 93 years of age in Nigeria, where life expectancy is 54, 58.
Yeah. No, honestly, God has been very good to him. And you know what they call him? The boy is good. That's the name they call him then when he was a minister. No, fantastic man, elder statesman, nationalist to the core. And to also think that, you know, just last year, he lost his wife, Chinelo, Madam Chinelo, at the age of 91. So they are just like 2 years apart. So, I mean, it's somebody that should be celebrated. I mean, I think the government of Anambra State should consider giving him a state burial as a mark of honor for what he did for the Igbo race, for keeping the virtues of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. I mean, as a key member of, I mean, very respected Igbo leader, he will speak truth to power, and to the extent that Buhari keeps asking after him that they should go and talk to him, to talk to the younger generation, to, I mean, see reason and stop being troublesome, you know. So the Nigeria as a whole has lost a nationalist, and we can only pray that God Almighty grants him eternal rest and gives the family the fortitude to bear the irreplaceable loss.
All right. Another tragedy hit the entertainment industry in Nigeria when the news broke out about the death of Ifeanyi Adeleke, the son of music star David Adeleke, otherwise known as Davido. The public relations officer of Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, confirmed that 8 domestic staff of Davido have been invited for questioning over the drowning of Ifeanyi on Monday. The 3-year-old boy had drowned at a swimming pool in their residence in Lagos State. Hundeyin, who confirmed the deaths, noted that workers who were around when the incident happened are being interrogated today. This is quite unfortunate.
It is, and coming 4 years after the man lost his own son, Daniel, in similar circumstances. This is particularly painful and unwarranted. I don't know how to describe how angry I am that this sort of thing was allowed to happen. Some people have said, oh, why didn't the mother take him with her when they were going out? It is impossible to take your kid to every public event. I mean, when people hire domestic aides and you hire them in large numbers, as we have
That's what they expect us to
with
do.
the case of Davido, you expect them to keep an eye on this child. And people, no matter the level of affluence, there are some safeguards that parents must put in place. You can't have a swimming pool in your house where there are toddlers and simply leave the swimming pool like that, unprotected, uncovered in any way. So, you know, coming after Davido was in a video teaching his son how to swim with the boy flapping his legs and being told by Davido how to stay afloat on water. And Davido even went as far as saying, this one go learn fast too. You would want to believe that the curiosity that we have come to identify with kids was what prompted the kids to go there unattended, because with the father telling him that this one go learn fast too, you know, because of the potential that he showed on the day that he was teaching him how to swim. The boy must have gone there unattended. And I still think that with no less than 8 domestic aides in the house, it is the height of negligence to allow a 3-year-old boy to stray to the point of drowning. In other countries, they don't like it when we talk about saner climes, but the only thing they can do to stop us is to button up our mouths, but they won't succeed in doing that. In other climes, a lot more people will have been reined in. Even his own parents will be questioned. If negligence leads to loss of lives, it is something that could land you in jail. You are not going to give excuse for negligence. And the life of everyone No one deserves to take his own life. Government will not permit it. If you are caught trying to take your own life, you are going to jail. If you are negligent and your negligence led to loss of life, even if you are a doctor, a caregiver, or a domestic staff, as we have seen here, the law is there to deal decisively with you. So the point that I'm making is I can't understand how a 3-year-old boy within a house where you had 8 domestic aids at that time, at the time of this disaster, this accident, they were at home, and this sort of thing happened. Why wouldn't they even be sure of where he was? Every minute, you must keep your eyes on the child. Children are naturally very inquisitive at that age. A child sees fire, he wants to touch it. When you say, this thing hurts, this thing will burn your... You will see him still moving his hand towards. He wants to see how it feels.
Yeah. Until he touches. I will not run.
I had an uncle that one of my younger ones was this hurricane lantern that we had. Yeah. He kept doing like this. He kept doing like this. Back then in the mid-70s, he kept doing like this. Then my uncle grabbed that hand and placed it on top of the... In fact, when they placed the lantern there, you will see him. As soon as he sees the lantern, he's running away. Because children want to fulfill that curiosity. Yeah. This thing that they don't want me to go there. Let me, I can do it myself. Right. Let me go, So, but you have to keep your eyes. You can't tell anyone that, look, I'm sorry, this happened. No, it's negligence. It's negligence.
It's quite unfortunate.
No, it calls to question the kind of parenting we have these days. Now, we can't say we shouldn't go about our normal chores or duties or tour of duty, but then I envisage a situation where most of these domestic staff, the moment Davido and Chioma stepped out on Monday, I think they traveled, they were busy with their phone or probably watching television.
Distracted.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but in most cases,
possibility.
If you want to see some of these things, when you just don't
install a
CCTV, or don't give them an idea that you are around. Tell them you are traveling, then go and park your car somewhere, then trek back. Don't blare your horn when you want to enter. You will see what is happening.
Some you may not even meet them at home.
That is. So we need to be more responsive in our parenting. The same thing happened with the band's Daniel, like a few years back. And this is happening to another artists now. It happens several times. The problem is because it is Davido and the band that we are hearing about such things. These things do happen. In as much as we cannot sit at home 24 hours with our toddlers and kids, I think we need to ensure that the domestic staffs we hire are living up to their responsibility. Because when a life is lost, it is irreplaceable. There's nothing you can do about it. And to think that Davido just shared the family pictures of Ifeanyi just about less than a week ago. It was viral on the internet. And the video of where he was teaching him how to swim and stuff like that, brings very, very sad memories. We can only pray that God will give him the fortitude to bear that very, very sad loss. The loss of one's child is something that we don't ever pray for. But at times when these things happen, I would just believe
somebody will definitely be prosecuted.
No, definitely.
Held to rule.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, we certainly accept it. There are no laws in our country.
Would that bring back the life? And that's why in other countries like the UK, for example, You cannot leave a toddler unattended. It is, I mean, it is going to, but then how do you address this situation? He has 8 people minding Ifeanyi, and yet all of them, quote unquote, slept off.
All right. It appears the announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, that newly redesigned Naira notes will start circulating in the economy from the 15th of December is putting more pressure on the currency in the black market. Since the announcement last week, the Naira has fallen from its initial record low of 765 to $1. It is now selling for around 818 Naira to $1 in the black markets. Several customers looking for dollars at the bureau de change hubs across the country had difficulty in accessing it, and some of its operators said they didn't even have up to $5,000 to sell. Jide, I read it that the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission today in Abuja, went for the bureau de change guys, operators, and they were arresting them. And I now look at this is not the way to go about it.
This is not the first time they will raid those guys. Even if you stop them from working, that cannot singularly reflect the value of our currency. These are just panic measures. The way to reflect the value of our currency is for us to embrace production on an incremental basis. We are not, the other day we were looking at the value of currencies in some of the African countries, and you see countries like Botswana, South Africa, where currencies are quite strong, you know. So how are they able to do it? South Africa, for example, is an industrial hub, producing wines and all kinds of things for export. A lot of the wines that our people consume here are from South Africa.
Soweto.
You know, from Soweto. In fact, every year they organize the Soweto Wine Festival.
Can you imagine? You know? We consume a lot of...
I wish we can go there and one day so that we can walk with our heads back home. You know? Now, we were told that one of the consequences of this policy, one of the immediate consequences of it is that there will be so much pressure on the Naira, leading to, so much pressure on the dollar, leading to the Naira further sliding. I would have thought, well, that was very predictable. People who have buried Naira in the soil, apologies to President Buhari, who have buried dollars in the soil, and those who have stacked Naira, those who have buried Naira in the soil, and those who have stacked Naira notes in their rooms. You know, people do big businesses with government. Some of them actually pay a bribe in Naira. Hundreds of thousands, even millions of Naira. They keep it in their homes. The ones who are wise quickly go and change to dollar, because the dollar is seen as a more reliable store of value. Now, a lot of this one must have caught a lot of them by surprise. I'm not sure they ever thought that what Buhari did in 1984, he would do it again, you know. But the president has sanctioned this change, redesigning of our currency, and the next thing they will do is to quickly take their Naira notes to the bureau de change. They don't want to take it into the bank because they will ask questions. The law is there. The law is there that for the bank MD, once you see someone bring this kind of money, you have to alert the regulatory authority, you have to alert the EFCC. So their best bet is to take the money to borrow the change, have it converted to dollars, and then they will go and store the dollars in their houses again. If they break into houses,
it will be compatible.
Yes.
It's
When
easy
you
as,
have
no,
like 20 million naira, 30 million naira, and dollar will just...
yes, you put $20,000 in your pocket, nobody will know that you've kept everything. But try and keep even
20,000 naira.
in your pocket. It will be bulgy. People will know that you have money. They will tell you to give us our own. So the Naira has been going through difficult times. We started this year in the black market, or in the parallel market. We started this year with the Naira exchanging at 565 Naira to a dollar.
That time it sounds
This year,
very weird.
This year, 565 to a dollar. Today, it is 818 yesterday, 818 in Abuja, and 815 in Lagos. Some people had exchanged it higher than that between Friday and Saturday. So we don't know where it will stop, but it certainly is one of the effects that we have been told that this policy will have on our currency.
Mujid, the way, the pace at which the Naira is falling, it's like, how will I put it? Before the end of this year, we might find ourselves in that mark of 1,000 Naira to a dollar.
Yeah, it's not impossible. And I think we have a CBN now that is just doing trial by error. And it's rather unfortunate. But the key thing here is the fact that we are not producing. If you are not a productive economy, if you are into buying and selling, and our appetite for imported products, it's unbelievable. All this has impact.
Not only our appetite, we're not producing anything.
We are not producing. And now,
there's no choice.
Even the one we produce, we prefer the foreign option
now,
to it.
The crude oil that used to be a cushion for us, we have dropped from about 1.8 million barrels to maybe around between 700 and 1.2 now, thanks to Tompolo now, that's been able to block some of these loopholes. So we've had several shortings. And see, the root of our problem didn't just start today. At a point, now I'm just coming from where Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, presented his manifesto to the
organized private sector.
Yeah, organized private sector. And a lady made a presentation there for the oil and gas sector. And she said Saudi Arabia's Aramco is making $22 million per hour as a result of the crisis in Ukraine and Russia. $22 million per hour. So calculate that. Now, at a time like this,
we're not leveraging on that.
They said they have been stealing our oil for the past maybe 9 years or God knows when. And these are vessels that it will take at least 2 weeks to load. Right, the one that was seized in the Gulf of Guinea, carrying Nigerian stolen crude oil, 3 million barrels. It will take at least 2 weeks to load it, 2 million barrels of crude oil. It's not, they are not stealing this thing in jerrycan. And nobody could trace that. A 3 million capacity vessel is not something you will pack and people will not see. And this thing has been happening for 9 years. So these are the things that is affecting our dollar. And to add to that...
Okay, let me just hold your hand down. Let's quickly take this breather. When we come back, We'll talk more. It's still Journalist and Guys. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Country people they talk with one voice. Them say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu them want as president of Nigeria for this president election.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu na the man where we all know and see all the good work in they do for the country, especially when him be governor of Lagos State.
Now him got use turn Lagos to the best state for Nigeria.
Today, many people all over Nigeria they like to go Lagos, go settle down for business and better life.
All because of the good work when Bola Tinubu do.
People of Nigeria, as Asiwaju do for Lagos, now so him ready to do am for the whole country.
Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party we get a broom.
That is a photograph of the second Niger bridge taken about 2 weeks ago at night. So the bridge itself is finished. For those who are concerned about that, finished. What remains is the link road. There's a 4-kilometer link road on the Asaba side. Right now, our dredger is in place. We have to build the road by reclaiming sand. So flood has slowed us down there at the moment. So we're waiting for the water to recede. On the Onitsha side, there's a 7-kilometer road that links this bridge and the Onitsha-Owerri interchange. The last time I visited, we had covered about 5 kilometers out of the 7 asphalted. So we're still racing against time. We've lost some time now due to nature, but we keep going. But in terms of the bridge, the crossing completed. And those who've been there know that you can walk the length of the bridge on both sides now unimpeded.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. Before we went on break, Mochi Jami, we were talking about the oil industry and talking about the free fall of the Nigerian Naira to the dollar.
It's not, why the CBN does not know what it's doing, then we don't even have that dollar backing. Now, the major source of our foreign exchange earning, where we get dollars to fund the Bureau change and other operations that are DOM-based, is through our exchanges from crude oil sales. Now, I stand to be corrected. I met with an expert in the oil industry over the weekend, and he told me that Nigeria has not drilled a single well since 2015. That all the money that was kept with NAPIMS to be funding the joint ventures, because Nigeria does this drilling, 60% NNPC, that's Nigeria, and 40% the oil companies like Shell, Chevron, the IOCs, the oil international oil companies. So 60-40. Nigeria has not been able to fulfill a 60% counterpart funding since 2015. They have finished that money. Now, we have not drilled a single oil well since then. Now, if you have an oil well that is very productive, year 1, 50,000 barrels capacity, by today it will be giving you less than 20,000 barrels. So, all these things they are telling us about oil being stolen, they are telling us half-truths. It's like the capacity of our production is dwindling, because we ought to either regenerate the old oil wells or shift to new ones. But if you continue, well, it's like if you have
investment in the sector is going down.
It's going down,
and some are even divesting.
So it is.
Some are leaving Nigeria.
It will take a long time for our production capacity to go up. Now I think we are number three behind Angola and Libya.
Wow.
Behind Angola and Libya. Number 3. Because we had some people at the NNPC that believes that they are above any other person. They will not allow their accounts to be audited. They will not allow, I mean, they won't tell us the truth. We don't even know how much liters of petrol we consume every day, and they'll be telling us that they are subsidizing petrol.
I have a caller from Kano State.
Whatever volume.
This is there. Mutalab.
Yes, Mukhtar speaking from Kano.
All right.
Hello.
Go ahead. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Ayo, my contribution to this program or to this discussion is that, you see, the issue of monetary policy is very important because it affects the life of every Nigerian. It affects the lives of every Nigerian. What I thought the CBN would do is to, gather critically pros and cons before embarking on the redesigning of the Naira. Because this is a history that is going to repeat itself. Because the most important thing is to increase the value of the Naira. And many of the stakeholders are not being taken on board before this decision is being taken. We know the CBN has the right to do that. But at least courtesy demands that the Minister of Finance should be carried along. Other Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Chamber of Commerce should be taken along. This is what we want. What is your suggestions and contributions and comments? We do want to do it with good mind to help Nigerians attain a greater height in terms of value of the Naira. Because our local people here in Kano or in the north do not patronize banks. They would rather put their money in their houses because they don't want to frequent the deductions.
So from December now, you have to go to the bank and change your money.
Yes, when they take their money to the bank, there will be going to be deductions. And when they go to the POS, there is deductions. And again, when they want larger sum of money, they will hardly wait. They had to wait for 3-4 days before their request is granted.
Thank you, Mukhtar.
Yes.
Mukhtar is so passionate about this.
I've read, Nigerians, the way they respond to issues can be very ridiculous. Journalists asked, in response to a question at the National Assembly, the woman said she was not informed, that she was not in the picture. Nobody consulted her, nobody hinted her that this policy was coming. She had to say that because if she didn't say that, then they will start asking her questions that she's not in position to answer. And she said, look, I was not consulted. She wasn't saying, look, he has to report to me. No.
That I should be consulted.
People now went to town and were saying, look, the CBN governor does not report to you. Why are you saying that? She only answered a question put to her. And whether we like it or not.
If you're asking her about the technicalities, she will say, I'm not aware, I don't know.
And whether we like it or not. But the job of running the economy, it's not one person's job. At the end of the day, if we don't get the policy right, we are all in it together. Nobody, she's part of the government. People will blame her.
She's part of the economic team.
Yes, people will blame her. So at least Kosi demands that this sort of person will even know that this thing is coming. That is the thing. It's just Kosi.
The interpretation I'm reading here is that there's something wrong, within these government agencies, because I was told that if that permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance is a member of CBN board.
Of course,
so if he is to be a member of CBN board, at that apex body, when they were taking that decision, the responsibility of the PS is to revert to the finance minister. So something is wrong somewhere.
That is if that person was also aware.
That person is
Can you bet on that?
He must be a member. He's a member. They can't take that decision outside the board.
I've covered the CBN.
Yes, you cover the CBN, not during this administration.
No, but no, as a rule.
Do you know, there are some, Majid, you know that there are some things, as we are now in today's Nigeria, that will seem inverted. By inverted, I mean completely against the norm. The way completely against the way
the run
things
of
used to
play.
be.
Yes.
There are people who tell me that, look, some things that they see, nobody can try with Obasanjo.
Yeah, but
Because the control, look at, you see sometimes the president says, go and do this, and you will see that it's not done.
Beyond that, honestly, like you said, a lot of things are wrong.
Because
But
I don't
then
want to believe that that woman will lie that she was
that's
not told.
the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance is statutorily a member of the board of the CBN.
Yes.
Of and the management committee.
So and they can't take any decision without that board.
That's number one. Then number two, I expect that there will be a communication, although I mean it's not for approval, but for
just
as
to
notice,
notify.
as a notice between the CBN, the CBN notifying the finance ministry that this is what we are doing, because, but maybe in the presence of in the fullness of time, we'll get to know more details. But basically, as long as we continue to run a dual exchange rate, you can imagine somebody sells $1,000 in the morning at 800 Naira. In the evening, is buying at 1,000 without lifting a finger, just exchanging notes. Only in Nigeria that I see that people are selling.
The official market is
dollar.
still 400 and something.
Official market
We are deceiving
430.
ourselves with that official market thing.
430 now.
Now, when you go to your bank and you say you need a PTA,
100%.
you need PTA to travel, they will tell you, go and be filling one form, go online, go and be doing all sort of...
People want to pay school fees. You make life
Go back and
unbearable
forth
for
for
them.
PTA.
People life unbearable for them. In the end, we push them to this same black market.
Jide, that is even good. Me, I consult for Financial Times of London. I place an advert. I have money in my account. I cannot pay Financial Times now. The money is in my account, paid by a customer. They cannot transfer it. They have been telling me, bring your head,
All
bring
kinds
your
of
tape. My
policies
home money.
introduced,
You
and we are not
cannot
even seeing the
try, you
dividends.
can't send it.
I don't see. The other day you said you were banning, BDCs. Did it affect the value? In fact, the Naira got worse.
Mojid, before with your access card, with your card, if you get abroad, you can spend. If you get anywhere in the world, you use your card, you do anything. But right now, they will tell you maybe $70 per month.
You'll be lucky to even get the $70.
You have to
You'll be
write.
lucky.
You have to send.
See, the thing, I met some guys who
down.
came from Canada and they were saying, look, Jide, we are just tired of Nigeria. That how can I want to pay the school fees of my son? School fees, or just school fees. They now put all kinds of boulders along the way so that it becomes difficult for you. You are now forced to go to the same people that they are telling us that they are discredited.
That's the last.
It's the same thing. Even airlines are saying they are forced to go to black market.
Black market.
Because they can't access this thing.
Let me bust your
money
bubble.
there.
You know, before, if you go to the black market and you tell them you need $100,000, now in 5 minutes you get it. But right now,
You have to kill.
you have to, the hawk.
They will be
The mala, they
getting
hawk
it for you
around.
in the
They don't have-
5,000 to
Yes.
2,000. Yes.
It's not available again. They'll start,
Yeah, true.
give me 10, give me 5. They'll
Yes,
start
it's
true.
to put it together.
True. No, that's what they are saying. That even those who are looking for it yesterday, that the BDCs told them, look, it's not available. Banks, look at what we've done to banks. Banks are going to reap bountifully
Oh, man.
this year. Because what do they do?
Look at it. Look at with
This is
the credit.
it's a rentier economy that we are operating. You give them maybe 120
They've been
million
declaring
every week.
They've been declaring
They
profits
share it
since
among
last week.
themselves.
They've been
Themselves.
declaring
A lot of them-
profits, big
Hold
profit,
on,
big
they are
time
selling
profits.
they are
A lot
In
of
spite
them-
of the economy in
foreign
A lot
trouble.
of them will not. They will take that money to the same malams that we are
BDCs.
talking about. You said we should go to the banks to make it easier. Those banks that you for doing no work, you give them 120 million to share, $120 million to share in
They
a
will-
week,
they will
and
sell
they
it.
will now
They
amongst
will sell
themselves
it.
And finally,
give it to BDCs. I don't understand.
Nigeria's political history is replete with constant clashes between governors and deputies, as well as president and vice presidents. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has canvassed for inclusion of specific roles of deputy governors in the constitution to address the incessant friction between the deputies and the principals. Speaking in Abuja at the launch of a book titled Deputizing and Governance in Nigeria, written by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State. The former president lists good personal relationship, accessibility, mutual respect, and common focus on the part of the deputies as crucial factors for good working relationships with their principals. Let's share the story with you from TVC Ibrahim Issa.
It is a gathering of movers and shakers of the nation's politics and economy. They converge on the NAF Conference Center in the federal capital to attend the launch of a book written by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje titled Deputizing and Governance in Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, former President Goodluck Jonathan, APC Vice Presidential candidate Kashim Shettima, who represented APC Presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, ministers and other top government officials congratulated Governor Abdullahi Ganduje on the publication.
While you are a deputy or vice, there are many around the principal who know that they cannot become deputy or vice since you're already there. But they try to be the assistant governor, assistant president. It is important to point out that beyond focusing on the factors that define the relationship between the deputy and the principal in Nigeria and many other countries, the book also examines the political history and trends of governance in our country, from the colonial period to the present. So it is good, it's a good book that we all should read.
Power is the most ephemeral of God's gifts to humanity, and whether we like it or not, we are going to spend more years of our lives outside power than in power. And once your time is up, you must realize that there is a new sheriff in town.
Nigeria's contemporary political history is filled with tales of incumbent and deputy face-offs, and most times cordial ties which have occurred at national, subnational, as well as at local council levels. Governor Ganduje, who has experience in that regard, decided to look at the matter in his 355-page book.
This publication, which chronicles my years of experience in the Nigerian project, is one of the defining moments of my life in public service. Principally, as two-term deputy governor and presently serving my second and last tenure in office as the governor of Kano State.
Ganduje is the longest serving deputy governor in the country.
The book was reviewed by Attahiru Jega, former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Ibrahim Issa, TVC News, Abuja.
Good afternoon, Oga. Now you be the landlord.
Yes, Nami.
Oga landlord, me go need one room for this your house, so.
Okay, sure you get work where you do.
Yes, I be nurse.
You know go they owe me be that now.
Now how much be your rent, safe?
Not just 90,000 naira. Wait, this guy, where you come from, Seth?
Oga, I come from Akamata.
Akamata? No talk am again. My spirit and Akamata people know they ever join.
Oga, wetin happen now?
Come over my compound. Na so baba thing na people sabi do for that Akamata. Come over here.
Haba, Papa, wetin this innocent girl do you now? Now people like you, they spoil Nigeria, Papa.
I think you don't see them now. My people, they talk, say jollof rice, we dey for bottom pot today, go dey top of cooler tomorrow. As I take need you now, so you self need me. Because now one mama we get, we be Nigeria. Make we love ourselves, because now only together we go fit make our country better for us and our children them. One heart plus one love equals better Nigeria. Now the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government, they bring in this message.
It's a new dawn for Nigeria. Oh, better days are coming. Better days that gives us hope and strength. The Latino boys determined to keep this hope alive. Bring the smiles back to all Nigerians.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria. Renewed hope beckons on our people. The silver lining dots the skies. The firmament portends a bright future as the people of Nigeria move to vote a man whom they have come to trust for the realization of their aspirations for a better Nigeria. That man is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He has been tested. He can be trusted. Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria 2023. Vote Kashim Shettima as Vice President. Vote APC. Surely with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the smiles are returning. We are close to home.
Bring the smiles back to all Nigerians.
Trashing this issue now you look, deputy governors especially and vice president, they don't seem to have to get fair deals from their principals.
Yeah, those spare tires.
Because apart from Abdullah Ganduje in Kano, that's is one of the few deputy governors that his principal allowed to succeed him, and he too is
the principal too that succeeded him. The principal that allowed him to succeed him. They eventually fell apart.
They fell apart. And I think the person that Ganduje is propping up now, the candidate is deputy. I think Kano State has a unique story for that. But most other states, you hardly find the governors recommending their deputies. When they see that you have ambition, they will organize the House of Assembly, they will impeach you.
If you see the number of deputy governors that have been impeached, and usually it's governors who instigate the impeachment. It's usually... I saw something.
Cannot impeach deputies.
They are his governors. You know, in 2019, Kogi deputy governor Samuel Achuba impeached Iyola Omishore, became the first deputy governor to be impeached since 1999. Chris Ekpenyong was deputy governor. June 2005, he was impeached. Abiodun Aluko impeached as deputy governor of Ekiti. Femi Pedro impeached in 2007. Garuba Gadi impeached as deputy governor of Bauchi in August 2009. Ebebi Perembowe Ebebi impeached as deputy governor of Bayelsa June 2010. Sani Abubakar of Taraba impeached on the instruction of Sunte, Dambaba Sunte, in 2012. Jude Agbaso impeached as deputy governor under Okorocha in 2013. Madumere will also have been impeached as another deputy to Okorocha, but they couldn't find the number. So they were forced to leave Madumere. Yes. So what's I like this book, and I would like to get a copy, because what's Ganduje, who had seen it all as deputy, governor, is saying is that there should be a specific role, and this man also said the same thing.
Former President Jonathan, because
said there should be a specific role in the Constitution given to deputies. So, in the case of Vice President, for example, Vice President has some roles given to him by the Constitution. In terms of the economy, for example, is in charge, it supervises the economy. But in the states, it is what the governors tell you to do that you do. And when you appear even to be a little creative or a little too hardworking or a bit of busybody, too much energy, the next thing they will send the assembly. I've not seen any deputy governor that an assembly in Nigeria got up on their own that they wanted to impeach. It's the governors who are telling them, impeach this person for me. And because those houses of assembly in Nigeria are largely rubber stamp of the executive, you'll find that whatever the executive says, they will be following the executive like this. Whatever the executive says is what they do. So they don't have a mind of their own. They just wait for the executive to give them direction, and you are supposed to be an independent arm of government.
Well, look at what happened. Look at what happened in Rivers now. Wike told them when selection of Mahia.
When he was in his good book,
give him.
Restore him as a former.
Give him all the place of his office.
That was a person that a Supreme Court.
Yes.
Supreme Court removed.
In the eyes of the law.
He was never a governor. But you said they should restore.
They restored him.
The same assembly
He
now.
started fraternizing with Atiku. Then the same house. Then came back and said, no, Celestine Omehia, go and return all the money that we paid you. Where is he going to find that money?
700 million naira.
That we paid you.
You said, go and pay all the money.
In 1 week.
Where will he find that kind of money?
He said, Wike said,
And the assembly carried out that.
No, but you know, he said when you show disloyalty, we crush you.
Yeah.
You know, he boasted about it that
Yes.
he will crush you. So, for the moment that person stepped out of line, you knew that he will go for him.
To show you that the assemblies are in the pockets of most of the governors. Meanwhile, Wike said, I'm not the assembly now. He made the law. He said, so if he fails to pay that money in 1 week, what will happen? He said, the Attorney General knows what to do. So, Wike, don't cross.
He just
Wike's
taught
line.
him a lesson for.
Yeah. See, this issue at stake. You know, the VP said something there, and I pity him. He said, if you are seen to be working too much, then you might have some problem with your principal. He said, he now quoted Kingsley Mbadiwe, then the man of timber, K.O. Mbadiwe, man of the popular timber and caliber fame, said a deputy is only as good as a repeater station of a major radio or television station. You know what a repeater station is? It's like a booster station. You have a station like TVC now, then you have a booster station somewhere. Nothing happens there. It's just to retransmit or to extend your signal.
It's just equipment that is there.
Equipment that is there. Like LTV has a booster station in Ikorodu, the LTV. So he said that's what, and that has been demonstrated under the Yaradua Jonathan administration, where Jonathan, because Jonathan knew what he was saying when he said there should be a constitutional rule.
Yes.
When Jonathan was there,
he was a newspaper reader.
He was reading newspapers. In fact, he said some people will
under LMS here.
No, under Yaradua.
Okay.
So that's why some people ran out of town. So some people.
Did you hear the story of the fact that he wanted someone that we made a minister?
Yeah.
And they told him, go and see that particular governor. He couldn't, in his place as a deputy to the president, he couldn't push for his only choice. He couldn't even push.
Yeah.
He was told, go and lobby that governor. If that governor agrees,
yes,
then that person becomes a cabinet member. You know?
To make matters.
To make matters worse. A lot of them have no clouds, nothing.
Some of these guys will come to see Yaradua. Why going to see Yaradua? They will say, Mr. VP, how's work today? Waiting then they talk for papers. You go and see Yaradua, gist, and come back. Mr. VP, well done.
You saw all they were doing to him that time that we said he wanted to see his boss.
Yeah.
They said, no, you can't see see him.
When he was ill.
When he was ill, he said, I want to see my boss. They refused. That was why he got angry. Immediately they gave him that power. The chief of army staff and some other people, he just sent them packing.
Sent them away.
He was, I think the news even came up with the headline that Orike Yaradua. He just sent them packing because he didn't get their cooperation.
I think it was Dambazao.
Yes, it was chief of army staff. Dambazao traveled out of the country.
And also,
before he got back, they had removed
and also the case of VP Oshibajo, we are all living witnesses. Most of the
president is out of the country now.
Yeah,
and the president took his.
For some time, the president is not handing over to him.
He took his official powers with him.
And apart from that,
they said we can run the country from
the social investment programs, SIPs,
my own
like
Nigeria.
Trader Money, all these other intervention programs, constitutional transfer, used to be under the office of the
vice president.
Today is under the Ministry of Humanitarian.
And the president has the right to create a ministry
that's why,
and assign roles to that ministry. If that is, if you are not happy with that, become a president.
We understand it.
Yes.
Even this issue of handing over, when you step out for medical, just 10 days,
I think it should also be a lesson to some governors too that power is so, I mean,
and it has taken someone like Ganduje to
because he saw it from the backside.
We always say that our leaders should write. People will gain from how they write. Now, I can't wait to read what
Yes, so we need that book. What's the name of that?
Commissioner Mohammed Garuba.
Yes, so
made the book.
We are sending a direct message to him now that for
Mohammed
the
Garuba.
Give us that book. Hard copy.
Yes. We need to read what.
Very interesting. Yes, so.
At least I'm sure he spoke as an insider, somebody who went through it.
Yes,
so that is the thing. They are just spare tires, but hopefully in future the law will be changed and they can be given some specific rules. In some states, they make their local government in charge of local government. Some put them in charge of education.
Thank you. And BQ.
Some don't give them anything.
Thank you, BQ. And that's all on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. See you tomorrow and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. We all know the benefits that come from eating a healthy, balanced diet, but sometimes that's not always easy. Until now. ShopX TV is proud to introduce NutriBullet, the must-have kitchen item of the year. With NutriBullet, you can now easily get your daily recommended fruits and vegetables in a fast, simple, and convenient way. Not by eating them, but by drinking them. Here's how it works. First, add spinach for fiber, berries for antioxidants, and some banana for potassium. Add water and watch how the NutriBullet completely breaks everything down. Even almond nuts, cashew nuts, and tiger nuts have been completely broken down. The NutriBullet is not a blender. It's not a juicer. It's an extractor, a crusher. It's a grinder with a 600-watt motor combined with bullet cyclonic action that forces everything into its extractor blades, breaking down, pulverizing, and crushing stems, seeds, and skins, and releasing all the essential nutrients trapped inside. Tired of using blenders that are difficult to use and produce poor results? Yuck! Watch this as we compare a normal blender with the NutriBullet. The normal blender struggles to get through to the finer ingredients where all the nutrients are stored. But watch the NutriBullets just absolutely crush everything you put in. Stems, seeds, skins, nothing is spared. With its 600-watt motor blades and bullet cyclonic action, there's simply no contest. There's so much you can do with the NutriBullet. Want to make your favorite stew in record time? Watch as we pitch a normal blender against the NutriBullet. The NutriBullet simply annihilates everything with speed and ease.
The great thing about a NutriBullet is that it delivers to you every nutrient that your body needs.
I love the NutriBullet. I use it every day, and it's a great way to stay fit and healthy.
The global best-selling NutriBullet is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 120,000 Naira for a blender that doesn't even break down and pulverize the stems, skins, and seeds. But call the number on your screen now and get the original NutriBullet for not 120,000 Naira, but for just 41,000 Naira. The original NutriBullet comes with a 600-watt motor base, available in white and gray. But that's not all. Why not upgrade your NutriBullet from 600 watts to 900 watts with ShopX TV's NutriBullet Pro, now available in white, gold, or gray for just 48,000 Naira. And we're still not done. If you order now during this commercial, you can get two 600-watt NutriBullets for just 69,950 Naira. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited period only. So call now while stock lasts.
The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thanks for joining us. This is TVC News at 6. We begin in Lagos,
where members of the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria did shut down today operations at the Terminal 2 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport over the sack of 34 members by operators by Courtney. Senior correspondent Sharon Ejason reports.
Aviation workers at the Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2 picketed this terminal over alleged unfair labor practice and the termination of more than 34 workers' employment here in Lagos, Nigeria. Workers here are determined to continue this picketing exercise until relevant authorities yield to their demands.
Last Friday, was it 27 or 28? They all got letter of termination of their appointment. On Thursday, before that Friday, their colleagues that are within got their pay. They were excluded, contrary to the letters and spirit of that 10 days leave of absence, that their salaries and allowances will be taken care of. One, they should withdraw those letters. Two, they are entitled to their October salaries because we are sure that they are still staff of Courtney.
I met with Benga Dairo, a security officer and chairman of Courtney branch of the Air Transport Service Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, whose appointment was also terminated. Dairo sheds more light on how the management of Courtney Aviation Services Limited, operators of the Terminal 2 at the airport, sacked 34 members of the union on the company's payroll. He said, after working for 17 years at the company, he deserves better treatment than being sacked via an email.
Being the fact that I also work in a critical department in the airport, because all we do at this point is all about security. Everything at the airport, even when you see people coming from outside the country, from America, from for audit of the airport, is mostly security. And it's quite unfortunate that you maltreat these same people that are performing such critical role.
Though flight schedules were interrupted here in Lagos, Nigeria, passengers are hopeful that the Courtney management will do the needful to ensure that collective bargaining agreements are being honored and a repeat of such incidents does not occur anymore. Sharon Ejason, TVC News, Lagos.
And still in Lagos, where the State Fire and Rescue Service recovered the body of an adult male from a fire incident at plot 1114 Adeola Odeku Street, Victoria Island. According to a statement by the director of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Adesheye Margaret, the incident happened within the premises of the commercial bank earlier this morning. The fire, caused by a generator spark, also affected an adjoining Toyota Salon car belonging to the Rapid Response Squad of the State Police Command stationed outside the premises. Mrs. Margaret said the body was burnt beyond recognition and has been